Well, happy Sunday. New video coming out today. Today we're calling this Whine About It because there's a lot of stuff to complain about. And what's better than complaining while you're drinking wine? So many things. So many things. So I guess for today, the big topic is changes. We were all going through a bunch of changes with this crazy virus, with all the hatred that's out there right now. My youngest son is going to school soon. He's going to be leaving here in like a few weeks or whatever. So that's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. So that means I'll be an empty nester. That means I'll be home by myself. And it was interesting because like today I was sitting in my house and I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, this isn't really so bad. Like he's going to be gone because he's on like going on vacation with his dad for a little bit. So I'm like, okay, this won't be so bad. But then I realized, oh, crud, like no one's going to be coming home. Like he'll go visit his dad for a week and then he'll come back and it's like, oh, okay, someone's coming home. But I guess it's been, gosh, I've been a mom for 25 years. So I've never lived by myself. I've never lived fully on my own, completely, totally on my own. And the idea of him not coming back because he's going to school out of Texas, it kind of got to me today. I think it stressed me out a little bit today where I was like, oh my gosh, like the reality of him being gone kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh my gosh. So because that hit, my emotions took over. But my emotions, I think it's been kind of brewing for a little bit, like with my emotions, like the past like week or so, because there's been like some inconsistencies going on with my life, which is like a totally normal thing. And then with that happening, with my son leaving, and then I hired a marketing company to market and brand because I graduated from school and I launched my new business and all this stuff. So he's been working on that. And I've been getting like these messages from people just freaking me out. Like they're crazy, insane messages. Some of them are like normal. Majority of them are not. And they're just disgusting. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I've been getting like all these different things kind of piling. And then at some point you just kind of break a little bit, because there's only so much one human can take because I'm just a human. And it's hard to like express that and like talk about that with like certain people. And I'll say like maybe like the past year or so, I've gone through like a lot of the personal changes, a lot of different things going on in my life. I don't have the same group of friends that I had before. I don't have a lot of the same stability that I had before. And I'm just like adjusting to everything and trying to like figure it all out. And now with my son leaving, it's like, whoa, this is like really intense for me because I am an emotional person. I am. It's who I am. It makes me a great writer. It makes me a great, person who can understand and talk to people. It makes me a great dating coach and relationship coach because I get and understand a lot where people are coming and I have a lot of empathy. I have a lot of sympathy. I have like a lot of it. So, but the flip side of having all of that, which is great, is the emotions. And it's like, oh my gosh. So I'm learning as I go. And when I have certain emotions, I need to talk about them sooner rather than later before they all come like crashing down upon me or upon, whoever's around me. And it's a little bit tough. It's a little tough to be going through like so much like everyone else is. Like everyone else is going through a lot of stuff too. And then to add on to it, kids leaving and relationships and, work and trying to figure out all this stuff and working out. And last week I wasn't able to go to the gym very much. And I think that kind of played a little bit of a role in my emotions and stuff like that. But I think what I'm trying to do lately is a lot of self-acceptance, just accepting the fact that I am an emotional person, that I'm controlling all of my emotions like as much as I possibly can. And I'm doing a fairly good job of it. Some people don't think I am and other people notice that I am. And it's definitely a balance to like manage it and to like figure it all out and to like really figure out like where you stand. I'm also learning with myself that I like to plan. I do. I like to know like what's for dinner. I like to know like what's going on next weekend, like what's going to happen, here and there because I like to know. And that might be the part of me that's like the mom because very rarely are moms like fly by night. Just like, oh, we'll just see what happens. Like, hey, it's, you have oranges next weekend. Oh, we'll just see what happens. No, dude, you got to plan for that stuff. Like, Halloween's coming. Well, we'll just see what happens. No, that's not going to fly either. So I think that has to do with a lot of like just being a mom. You always have to plan. You always have to be 10 steps ahead. And now that like my kids are pretty much gone and I don't need to do that anymore, I can't just let go of that. I still like to plan. I still like to know a lot of things. Like I might be moving here in a little bit and I'm just like, where am I even going to go? I have no idea. And it's definitely for me not like, well, we'll just see how it goes. I would really like to know where the heck I'm going. So it's an interesting sort of thing to be left alone with your thoughts and figure some stuff out and figure out like which direction your life is heading in, like how you want it to look. And I think like, well, I should say I know back when I had my kids and stuff like that, I never imagined being an empty nester looking like this. Well, first of all, I have great skin, so that kind of helps a lot. I knew I was going to be young, per se, when I was an empty nester, because I am young. Probably can't Dougie, but in my defense, I really couldn't anyway before this. So I didn't expect it to look like this. I didn't expect to be like completely on my own. I didn't expect it to look like this. I remember like when I was married, we would talk about what we would do when the baby left. And now the baby's leaving and I'm doing this and he's doing that. And it's so completely different. So I really had no idea. And I really don't know what the rest of this looks like. So it's basically like the empty nest thing kind of scares me a little bit. Because it's like you're going to be alone. And it's not that being alone is bad. And you got to like get on with your life. And you got to kind of like figure out like, what does that look like? What does that look like for me? Like, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be? So, and at this point, like I have an idea of where I want to be, but I'm not 100% sure. And realizing how quickly life can change, you just don't know. Like you can make plans. So there's a part of it where it's like, you really can't ignore the fact that like Halloween's coming up and you need to know what you're going to be. But at the same time, life changes so quickly, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. Life changes, feelings change, people change, all these things change. And it's a tough thing to go from like planning so much out to not really knowing how to plan anything out anymore, because you really, to a degree, can't plan like what your life is going to look like. Because like 10 years ago, I did not think I would be happily divorced and dating. I didn't think that was going to be me. I had no idea. And now here I am, and I'm about to be an empty nester and I'm still single. And it's like, oh my gosh, like how, like, what does everything, look like? So to a degree, it's like take one thing at a time, one day at a time, figure yourself out, figure out what makes you happy and kind of go from there. And this virus stuff does not help like at all. Cause it's like, you can't really go out, you can't really travel, you can't really do too much with it. So you're just kind of like stuck at home, like really thinking about like your life and like what you want it to look like. And sometimes it's just definitely not a lot of fun. Thank God we have wine, right? But changes are tough. They're definitely tough. And I'm definitely feeling a lot. Don't let the smile on my face fool you, because I spent the majority of my day crying my eyes out. And then took a shower hoping to wash off like cry face. But it can be painful. It can be painful. The changes can be painful. The unknown can be painful. And it's one of those things where you just have to like get up and just kind of do your thing. So I decided, all right, I'm just going to like take a shower. I'm going to write. I'm in the middle of writing my fiction book, and I'm going to write the next section. So I was like, and then I'm going to have some wine. And then I'm going to whine about it. And that's, I guess, what I've been doing, just kind of like whining about it. So all of this was such a massive rant, but I just felt like I needed to get some stuff off my chest and out into the world. And if anyone else is feeling kind of like changes suck and they're hard, just know that you're not alone, even though you feel sometimes alone when you live like by yourself. And but you're definitely not alone in feeling that change is tough and that life is just so unpredictable. You just don't know what's going to happen. So drink the wine, make the video, and write the words and make them go, which is what I'm about to do.